So good day everyone. My name is Scale Montizo and I am your presenter for today. So my report is all about MSK 64 scale. So ano nga ba yung MSK 64 scale? So according to the Mendeleev Sponier scale, so the Medvedev Sponier-Karnik scale, or also known as the MSK 64, is a macroseismic intensity scale used to evaluate the severity of ground shaking on the basis of observed effects in an area where an earthquake transpires. The scale was first proposed by Sergei Medvedev, USSR, Wilhelm Spinner, Germany, and Wittkarnik in 1964. It was based on the experiences being available in the early 1960s from the application of the modified Mercalli intensity scale. In the 1953 version of Medvedev scale, known also as the Geoffrian scale. So, sabi dito hindi lang pala MSK 64 scale yung tawag sa kanya. Meron din ditong tawag dito according to the version of 1953 is Geoffrian scale. With minor modifications in the mid-1970s and early 80s, the MSK scale became widely used in Europe and the USSR, and early 90s, the European Seismological Commission, or ESC, used many of the principles formulated in the MSK in the development of the European macroseismic scale, which is now a de facto standard for evaluation of seismic intensity in European countries. MSK 64 is still being used in India, Israel, Russia, and throughout the world. So, mid-Vib-Spinier Karnik scale. The mid-Vib-Spinier Karnik scale is somewhat similar to the modified Mercalli scale used in the United States. The MSK scale has 12 intensity degrees. The first is not perceptible, hardly perceptible, weak, largely observed, fairly strong, strong, very strong, damaging, destructive, devastating, catastrophic, and last, very catastrophic. So those are the intensity degrees of MSK scale. So first is the not perceptible. Not perceptible, not felt, registered only by seismograph, no effects on objects, no damage to buildings. So, parang wala pa siyang nangyayari dito, parang wala pa tayong nararamdaman na something na may lindol, ganun. So, pangalawa is hardly perceptible. So, dito mararamdaman natin felt only by individuals at rest, no effect on objects, no damage to building. So, mahina pa talaga. So, pangatlo is weak. Uh, Weak, felt indoors by a few, hanging objects swing slightly, no damage to building. So, parang meron na tayong nararamdaman na kaunti. Nakikita na natin yung mga bagay na gumagalaw. So, four is largely observed. Dito is felt indoors by many and felt outdoors only by very few. A few people are awakened. Moderate vibration observers feel a slight trembling or swaying of the building, room, bed, chair, etc. China, glasses, windows, and doors rattle, hanging objects swing. Light furniture shakes visibly in a few cases. No damage to building. So, mahina pa talaga dito. So, number five is fairly strong. So, dito, mararamdaman natin felt indoors by moss. Outdoors by few. A few people are frightened and run outdoors, many sleeping people awake. Observers feel a strong shaking or rocking the whole building room or furniture. Hanging objects swing considerably. China and glasses clatter together. Doors and windows swing open or shut. In a few cases, window panes break. Liquids oscillate and may spill from fully filled containers. Animals indoors may become uneasy, slight damage in a few poorly constructed buildings. So dito parang malakas-lakas na yung like mafe-feel na natin na lumakas na talaga yung lindol. Yung habang tulog tayo, nararamdaman na natin. Tapos pati yung mga alagang hayop natin, balisa na sila. Then the six is strong. Felt by the most indoors and by many outdoors, a few person lose their balance. Many people are frightened and run outdoors. Small objects may fall in furniture may be shipped. Dishes and glassware may break. Farm animals may be frightened. Visible damage to fastened structures, cracks and plaster. Isolated cracks on the ground. So dito malakas na talaga. Palakas talaga yung intensity ng lindol dito. So 7 is very strong. So dito mararamdaman natin most people are frightened and try to run outdoors. Furniture and shifted and may be overturned. Objects fall from shelves. Water splashes from containers. Serious damage to older building and masonry chips. Ayan, malakas na talaga dito kasi nga very strong. Pangwalo, damaging. So damaging, many people find it difficult to stand even outdoors. Furniture may be overturned. Waves may be seen on very soft ground. Older structures partially collapse or sustain considerable damage, large cracks and fissures up open up rockfall. So sa number 8, parang dito ko mahalin tulad yung nangyari dito sa Jensen. So talagang marami ng mga buildings na nag-crack and everything and nalalaglag. So number 9 is destructive. So destructive, general panic, people may be forcibly thrown to the ground. Waves are seen on soft ground, substandard structure collapse, substantial damage to well-constructed structures, underground pipelines ruptured, ground fracturing widespread, landslide, and professionally made templates to fit na object or topic. So ayan, palakas talaga. Kahit yung nasa mga bundok, pwede nang mag-landslide kasi sa sobrang lakas. So, number 10 is devastating. Masonry building destroyed, infrastructure crippled, massive landslide, water bodies may be overtopped, causing flooding of the surrounding areas and formation new water bodies. So dito parang pati yung dagat, parang dun nagsisimula na yung tsunami. So the 11 is catastrophic. Most buildings and structures collapse, widespread ground disturbances and tsunamis. Ayan, dito na talaga nagaganap yung tsunami. And panghuli is very catastrophic. All surface and underground structures completely destroyed, landslide, generally chains, rivers, chain paths, and tsunamis. So dito talaga parang ito na yung the big one, talaga yung pinakamalakas na lindol na mararamdaman natin. Very catastrophic. So, and that's the 12 intensity degrees. So, MSK 64 scales, which itself is an update, is based on the experiences which were available in the early 1960s. From the application of the Mercalli Concaine-Sieverge scale, or MCS, from Sieverge 1932, the modified Mercalli scale in its version from 1931 and 1956, or MM31 and MM56, and the Medvedev scale from 1953. One of the main intentions for the creation of the new scale was not to change the internal consistency of the scale with respect to the widely used 12-degree scales. This would result in intensity evaluations which would be different from earlier application of 12-degree scales, and which would require the reclassification of all earlier intensity assessment. This would be avoided at all costs. It would result in a complete confusion in all studies in seismicity and seismic hazard, which depend heavily on macroseismic data. So, yun lang po yung tungkol about sa MSK 64 scale. Ayun, maraming salamat po and that were all. Thank you.